It is a pleasure for me to be able to address something that comes up frequently, and that is philanthropy. This is about giving. This is a giving time of year. And something I found really interesting is why we give. I was reading about some studies of giving, and of course, we like to make a positive difference. It feels really good to feel like we're making a difference in the world, and that's a big reason of why most of us give. But did you know that the power of generosity not only shows a benefit to the receivers, but also to the giver? In fact, there are studies that show that generosity can generate real physical, tangible health benefits like lower blood pressure, more positive self-esteem, and even eventually a longer and more satisfying and fulfilling life. Pretty cool. So overall, giving connects us to other people in our community and in the world, and also to a sense of purpose, which is so important for the feeling of fulfillment in our lives. So yay, giving is great. How do we do this? How do we get more of this in our lives? Well, the one problem is that most people are spontaneous givers. They don't have a strategy for their philanthropy. And by having a strategy, you can actually make greater impact and have greater efficiency in your giving, which leads to greater benefits both for you and for the recipient. So let's talk about how we would do this. There are 5 questions that I want to share with you that you can ask yourself anytime that you are considering philanthropy that might help to give it a little boost for both you and the recipient. So let's address those 5 questions. First is to consider, what values are most important to you? So rather than just being reactive in your giving, oh, someone sent me a solicitation in the mail. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll give that. But maybe thinking about what values are really important. And a few sessions ago, I think Phil talked about a values inventory that you can do. If you're curious about that, ask one of us. We can send you the link to that values inventory. It's very interesting. But helping to realize what values are most important to you will help you then to direct your dollars to an area that's going to really make you feel good. The next question is, where can I do the most good? Now, while you might have a passion for, let's say, this little paw, I love this picture, maybe you really care about animals and you want to make sure that you donate to some organizations that support that. Well, which organizations? There are sometimes overlooked causes or local ones that maybe don't get as much attention as the national ones with the big commercials. They don't have as big of a marketing budget. Doesn't mean that they don't do good in local areas. So think about it, maybe do some research on local organizations or overlooked causes. The internet's a great tool for that. The next question kind of goes along with that, and that is, what organizations are most effective at solving the problem that I want to solve? Do your due diligence here. Not all organizations are created equal, and you can use resources like Charity Navigator or GuideStar and look up a particular charity and see how much money of their budget goes to maybe marketing or promoting versus how much actually goes to the cause that they are supporting. I personally have found that very interesting as I've looked at different charities. I think it's very revealing. And does the organization clearly show how your dollars make a difference? Or is it just vague about we'll help the world? Personally, I like to see a little bit more specific. We will give X number of meals to the families in need in this community. Then I know exactly what my dollars are doing and making sure that they're doing what I expect them to be doing. Again, the internet's a great resource of information there. 4th question, what exactly do I want to donate? Well, we all think about money, and that's great, but there are other things that you can donate. What about your time? What about unique skills that you have? Maybe you can really work a spreadsheet, and that might help a local organization that you support if you put in a few hours helping them out with that task. Or maybe you do woodworking or baking or something else that you might be surprised if you contact local organizations, how you could donate your time or your skills. Many organizations also take material items, such as cars. A lot of charities really enjoy taking that car off of your hands so that they can then resell it or maybe use the parts. And finally, appreciated assets as well. We've talked about QCDs before, qualified charitable distributions. So if you are over age 70 and a half or 72, depending on the year that this struck you, if you're in your 70s, you might be subject to required minimum distributions. And if you are charitably inclined, you might be able to execute a QCD. So you give that money directly to the charity, which benefits you from a tax standpoint and benefits the charity. So if you have questions about that, please contact us. Final question to ask is, what does success look like? If I want to change the world, how do I measure that? How do I know, and what does success look like? Especially important if you're donating to an organization. Does my vision of success mirror the organization's vision? And do they state what their vision is? That's important too. So how do we measure success? And there are different ways depending on the causes you support. Maybe going back to that animal charity, maybe it's that a certain number of animals find homes, find foster homes each year. That's a measurable way for success. Or that a certain number of children don't go hungry during the holiday season. That's a measurable success. So it's important to ask that and think about how you can measure whether or not you've been successful with your philanthropy. So to summarize, strategic philanthropy, it can take a few minutes of planning, research, and thinking, but it can have a greater impact upon the causes that you really support, a greater efficiency, and greater benefits to both you and the charity. If you're ready for a plan for your philanthropy and you don't have one yet, please contact us. It's a pleasure to help clients think through how they might want to use their skills, their assets, their money in ways that they really support and feel good about.